Greetings, YouTube. See what that says right there? Tungsten carbide. That is my brand new wedding band. Made out of tungsten carbide, the hardest metal known to man. Which means if I ever get my finger stuck in someplace and I can't get my ring off, the finger comes off. So, that's my little personal bit of news today. On to a more topical discussion. Some of you might remember that I discussed the BART cop that shot an unarmed black man in the back a while back. He had restrained a suspect, face down, handcuffed with his hands behind his back, while standing over the suspect, and then proceeded to draw his firearm, discharge it, and kill the man. He said that at the time he had been attempting to draw his taser, to use his taser on the suspect, even though the suspect was lying face down, immobile, with his hands handcuffed behind his back. Well, he was found guilty of involuntary manslaughter and was sentenced for the minimum sentence, 2 years. He's being offered time served, which means he could get out in as little as 7 months. There are people in prison today in America, longer than that, for having an ounce of weed on them. There are people who have been sentenced to longer terms for shooting an animal. Think about that for a second. The legal system in America has said that the life of a black human being is worth less than an ounce of weed. I can imagine that the black community is a little upset. I'm more than a little upset, and I'm as white as they come. But I think the one fact that everybody seems to be missing on this, they're debating about, should he have been found guilty? Should he have, what part of evidence should have been released in the trial? Was the right kind of information released in the trial? That kind of things. They seem to be ignoring one key element. Why was he drawing his taser? The suspect was face down, handcuffed, and had a cop standing over him. He wasn't moving. Witnesses, in fact, said that he was repeating that he wasn't going to move. But of course, the cop decided that that particular individual wasn't restrained just for his taste. So he wanted to render him unconscious using a non-lethal weapon. Now, it's important to call a taser a non-lethal weapon because while it is a non-lethal weapon, it is still a weapon. Why were you drawing a weapon on a fully restrained suspect? I don't think anyone's ever answered that question. I'm sure that the cop in question, or the ex-cop, is never going to answer that question. It's a mystery to me. And anyone who can't tell the difference between a pistol and a taser does not deserve to be armed with either a pistol or a taser. Because they're different, folks. I understand that he was stressed at that moment. I think that the real crime that this person committed was contempt of cop. He defied a police officer. And for that crime, he was going to be released. It just so happened the cop in question was an idiot and pulled a pistol and shot him at point blank.
I cannot even begin to imagine what his family must be going through. That poor man murdered by an idiot cop for defying the law in some way the cop didn't like. You imagine what that family's going through? Knowing that their son, their brother, their friend, cousin, that his life is worth less than an ounce of weed. They were rioting in the street over this, and there should have been.
it just stuns me that they haven't stormed the holding cell and dragged this cop out. And I'm sure he's going to have to go into protective custody if he doesn't get adopted wholeheartedly by the Aryan nation as soon as he gets to jail. Because if he's ever allowed into the general population alone, he's a dead man. I don't endorse this. I don't believe in violence. But that's what's going to happen. In fact, I would imagine that as soon as he gets out of prison, he's going to probably move to the whitest place that he can find on the entire continent. I think that's Idaho. And even that's not going to do it. He's going to have to try really hard to completely throw his old life away and start anew. He's going to have to go into witness protection, even though he's not a witness. Because otherwise, someone's going to hunt him down and kill him. And I don't endorse this, but it's a prediction. He did something monumentally stupid. And he's going to pay for it. I wish it weren't so. But this legal system has let us down. The maximum sentence he could have received was 14 years. And that's not long enough for killing another human being who was fully restrained and helpless. I'm at a loss for words here, folks. He was an idiot. And he killed somebody. Why are we allowing idiots to be cops?